Hey guys, how are you doing today? It's P.E. Gilbert, your blogger, writing consultant, and the author to the fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter. And today we are honoured to have an interview with the voice actor and commercial producer, Jenna Birmingham. Jenna has done voiceover work for commercials, animation, podcast intros, and DJ drops. Plus, she plays the villain in MLA Entertainment's original web series, Project Infinity. Jenna is positive, funny, and passionate about what she does. Here is the interview. Enjoy. So tell us a bit about yourself. Where do you come from, and how did this place give you the opportunity or the opportunities to become a voice actor?
Okay, well, I'm from California originally, and being in a state that has so much entertainment in it, it gave me lots of opportunities and access to really good coaches and classes and camps and workshops and things like that. I started acting when I was little, and I've always loved music and singing. So those are kind of things that went hand in hand. I didn't know voice work was a job choice when I was little. I didn't think about venturing in that direction. I just knew I enjoyed entertaining and acting, and so I eventually kind of steered that way, that I didn't really want to do much camera work. I do on occasion, but it's mostly extra stuff just for something to do in the industry. But the voice work side of things, it was just something that just kind of kept nagging in the back there. And finally in 2007, I volunteered at a place that I could learn mic technique. So that was one of the pieces that I was missing. And then one of the guys there kind of took me under his wing and taught me some basic audio production so I could record myself. And that's where I got started.
You have 2 certificates in music entrepreneurship. That is quite different to voice acting, if I may say so. What was the spark that made you decide to become a voice actor?
Like I said, it, kind of was back in my head. And one of my friends who I've known since I was a child worked in Hollywood as a producer. And we were talking on the phone, and she's like, I really wish that you would revisit this idea and just do it, because I'd love to have access to a voice like yours. And I thought she was being nice because, oh, you have a great voice. Well, it's more than just having a great voice. And I don't know, it was just one day I was like, I'm doing it. Like, I want this. I want to be on a microphone. I want people to hear me. I want to be able to play. And when you're on a microphone, people don't see this. So it's very freeing. I can look as goofy as I want. Doesn't matter. I don't have to hit a mark. I just need to be this far from the microphone, like, that's the only thing I really have to be mindful of. I am free to just play and entertain. And then when you get to see it or hear the finished product, it's always like, you're proud of it. That's like, that was me. And then the anonymity of it is kind of fun because, people will hear you and it's like, that's me. No, that can't be you. It's like, no, I promise that's my voice. I know I don't walk around with that voice, but no, that's me. And I just really loved the idea of it. And when I got the certificates for music production and radio production, again, I've always had a passion for music. And one of the things that is rare is a woman who can voice and produce. And that's how I got my job that I have now, because I'm a commercial producer. So those certificates helped me get the job that I have today. So that's kind of why I got those. It was more of a regular income versus the freelance of voice work where it's kind of unpredictable. So
it sounds like you've gone about matters in a really, really sensible and intelligent way to balance, getting a regular income with the freelance work that you love doing so much. Keep it up, keep going.
Oh, I absolutely intend to.
What was your training to be a voice actor, and how do you find work?
Like I said, originally when I was younger was very much acting and theater and on stage. I had a couple of I think it was a couple of teachers that did on-camera work, learning that because I wanted to be an actor at that point in my life. So that was where I got that part of the voice training, because it is voice acting, not just voiceovers. And so that was that section of it. And then the microphone, like learning mic technique, that was access to being able to be on a microphone. And it was not a proper education. It wasn't like I paid somebody, to spend a week with me, like very focused. It was the company found out that I had a good voice. And every time that I would go in and record something for him, I would ask a question like, what's that EQ do? Or, I'd learn about plosives on a microphone and how to avoid those. And just like all the little things that you need to learn about working with a microphone, I learned kind of on the job training, I guess, if I had to describe it. So that was how I got that portion of it. And then the ability to record yourself, that I was taught just by happenstance. I didn't know that was something I would need to know. I originally had no coaches in terms of being voice, and it was very just finding things out as I went. I was definitely alone in the learning voiceover stuff in the beginning. I didn't really have a mentor in terms of voice. I had a mentor in terms of production. So it a little bit helpful, but not exactly. So, I mean, there's current training that I'm always doing. I have a coach. I have coached with other people in the industry. I've coached with Pat Fraley on a couple of occasions. Lisa Biggs is another one for animation that I've worked with a tiny bit. And, you just try to learn from some of the strongest people in their fields, because voice work is very diverse. There's all sorts of kinds of voice work. You've got commercial, narration, animation, and even with animation, you've got anime and animation, and then you've got video games. And they're all interconnected, and at the core, it's the same kind of thing, but they are different and they are specialties in and of themselves. So it's kind of helpful to learn, each part if you plan on working in each part. So yeah, I don't think your training ever really ends. I don't think I'll ever be finished or stop taking classes or workshops or workouts or having coaches. Yeah, I don't think there'll be an end to that ever, because trends change and I want to be relevant and I want to do this as long as I can.
It sounds so much more diverse than I ever realized. And thank you for your honesty. And I'm very positive that you will stay relevant for a long time to come, because you have the right mindset. Among your incredible portfolio, you have done voiceover work for commercials, podcasts, intros, and DJ drops, among other kinds of voice work. I have listened to some of your work, and I must say, you have a lovely voice.
Thank you.
A pleasure. It was a joy listening to you. What attracts you to do commercials, podcasts, and DJ intros?
I enjoy commercials because you don't necessarily know what you're getting. I mean, you could be reading a very heartwarming spot for animal adoptions, or a spot for mental health, or supporting like the troops. And sometimes you get public service announcements, and then sometimes you get really fun, very rowdy commercials if you're doing a club or a bar or a restaurant or a New Year's Eve party or any number of things. And then you could also wind up, oh, we just need you to sound like an older lady for a minute, or can you sound like college age, younger 20s, just I don't know when I mean, obviously if I am auditioning for something, I know what they want before I go into it, but in a day, I don't know that morning what I will be voicing or what I will have voiced by the time I go to bed that day. And it can be, like I said, anything from sexy to serious and everything in between. So, and you need to be able to tap in to like emotions sometimes too. It's not always just a soft sell or a hard sell or super amount of energy or something that's really heartfelt. You really don't know. And I love that versatility. In terms of DJ drops and intros for podcasts and things, I love my job. I love doing what I do. If it's for a DJ or a podcast, or if I've done greetings on once upon a time when everybody didn't have GPSs on their phone, I introed stuff for, I think it Expedia, welcome to the beautiful island of Oahu and things like that. It's just, I'm a voice that welcomes you when you get in your rental car for a couple of years. Like, you just don't, I'm always open to everything that there is out there. And if I've never done it, I try to do a quick study and I hope for the best. I mean, if they've approached me, they've already decided they wanted my voice. Now I just need to be able to deliver it. So that's, when you love what you do, you're never working. So I'm very fortunate with that.
And they're very fortunate to have you. On your website, it also says that you have done book narration and some animated character work. What genre of books have you narrated, and what kinds of characters have you animated?
Okay, for books, I've only done a few books. Books are very difficult. They're marathons in terms of voice work. One finished, like an hour that you listen to, that's taken someone else a minimum of 3 hours to voice and produce. So they're very labor intensive in terms of books. So I don't do too many of those. The ones that I've done in the past, they were kind of self-help books. So there wasn't really character involved. It was very much more of like a conversational and an encouraging kind of thing. I've done a tourism book for Tuscany. I think out of the books that I narrated, that was probably the one that I enjoyed the most, just because I love Tuscany. So I really got to, kind of feed myself with that one. So that was nice. And in terms of animation stuff, I haven't worked in animation near as much as I would like to. I've had a few projects. I've done Project Infinity that I know you're familiar with. I get to play like a bad guy. I love that part. And I've done Wopsy Square is one that I've done recently, and I love that character. I didn't audition for that one. They found my voice and came to me, and it's a joy playing her. I love her. I hope that she can keep on for a very long time. I hope he continues writing her and animating her, because she's awesome. So I don't know. And that one, I think she's a teenager. So bad guy's teenager. Like, I'm down to do whatever. I played a knight once, and originally it was supposed to be a man, and I auditioned for it anyways because I thought it was a cool character. And they're like, we heard it, we loved it, so now the knight's a woman. so you never really know. Sometimes when you audition stuff, you got to take chances sometimes.
Sounds like you take the right chances as well.
Yes, educated, precise, strategic chances.
Very well said. We should all take note of that. Educated and strategic, and intelligent too.
Yeah.
What kind of voice acting haven't you done yet that you would like to?
Eventually, I'm going to have to take some classes on dubbing, because anime is an incredible type of voice work. And in terms of the technical skills that are involved in that, I respect everybody that does that. And it's not something that I've done. I'm not comfortable doing. I'm not trained to do it. And I would love to. It's on my list of things to do. So I guess anime would be the one that I'd like to do eventually.
Well, please God, you will get it. And I have every faith that you will, and you'll get something really good. And please God, be in good time as well. You're the commercial producer for Entercom, if I'm correct.
Yes, you're correct.
What kind of adverts do you make? And what kinds of adverts would you like to make?
My day job is a commercial producer for Entercom. I'm on my team, I'm one of 9. And in the company, there's 4 production hubs around the country, and we all make commercials for, I think it's over 250 commercials across the country. I work on producing commercials for about 54 radio stations in 11 different markets. So very varied, because it's country, R&B, regular talk radio, sports, pop, alternative, rock, like whatever kind of radio station you can find. We're making commercials for all of them. So you need to really be able to kind of tap into where your commercial is going to be playing. So the production side of things is a lot of fun and very challenging. And I wind up voicing, I make others, but I get a lot of any symphonies, any orchestrations, stuff with a lot of sound design in them. I get those. I do a lot of college recruiting, and I make, like, as animal, like adoption events, or, support, by your donations, things like that. And then I do club spots, and I do gentlemen's club spots, and I've done ED commercials, and like I've done pretty much anything that you can buy. I feel like I've done that at least once somewhere in there. And in terms of making commercials, I like being able to play and really be able to utilize the tools that I've learned in terms of the sound design. Like, I love making conversational spots that are entertaining and normally a little funny, a little bit cheeky, because they're the most fun. And then the sound effects that can go with that, in terms of making a mom who's in a chaotic environment, and the kids are knocking on the doors, and the dogs are barking, and this is going off, and you got a Zoom call thing. You have all that going on, and you get her to shut the door and hide in the bathroom and have a conversation with this voice of God, announcer about bathroom remodels. Like, like, I just enjoy, like, those kinds of things that are kind of like, wait, what did I just hear? And things that get their attention. I like being able to really be creative in some of those. I enjoy making, a simple, solid, heartfelt read with a nice music bed under it. Those are nice too. But when you can, like, it's getting to play with like the whole box of coloring crayons when you get to make the creative stuff that's very in depth. And a lot of the other commercials are, well, you get these 4 colors and you can use those all you want. So yeah, creative spots with lots of things going on, normally, funny. Those are probably my favorite to make.
Sounds like you do a lot, and with great variety as well.
Yes, very much.
It's very impressive. I don't know how you keep doing it all.
I have hit a wall before. That has happened. Like, I mean, there's writer's block. Well, there's also producer's block. There's a limit to creativity sometimes. So.
Never heard of producer's block. I like it a lot.
I don't know if it's a thing. We can just say it's a thing. Yes.
It's a thing now. We've made it.
Yes. Yes.
If you could go back in time and speak with your younger self, what advice would you give her about being a voice actor?
Be fearless. Don't stop being fearless. And don't second guess your creativity, and don't try to rein it in. Continue playing. That's incredibly important. And no, just be fearless. Keep having fun. Don't stop playing. Don't lose that part so that you have to go and re-find it again later.
It's good advice. I like it a lot. In your opinion, what is the hardest part about voice acting?
Coming from a real place, I think, is the hardest part, especially if you're doing something that's difficult. Like, I did an audition the other day where it's a woman and she's holding her husband's hands and he's hanging there and having, and then he falls and you're watching that, but you're in a padded room. You don't have that. You're not really there. You don't have someone to play off of. So to find a moment in your life where you had that heartbreak and terror, and or even if it's a couple different moments, and trying to mesh them in together so that you can really feel that, so that your voice can portray that. I think that's the most challenging thing. And even if it's something simple like a mother who's talking about her children and she doesn't know what she's going to do, if she's going to homeschool them, there's a legitimate, honest concern in her voice and a love in her voice. So, if you kind of need to really feel those things. And I think that's the hardest part, is when you read something before you actually voice it, is knowing who you are and having it be as real as possible and being it as much as you can, I think, emotionally, and really tapping into reality as you know it.
I believe you. I write myself. I'm aware you have to put that emotion in, albeit in a different way. I think it's extremely important, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Of course.
This is a question I've recently enjoyed asking voice actors.
Oh,
say you have a cold or the flu one day, yet you have recording to do. What do you do so as to make your voice sound well rather than ill sounding?
Well, I'm certain I probably don't do the best thing. I've actually been yelled at by a vocal coach before for it, because I used it when I should have rested it, but I had to work, like you say, sometimes you just have to. And generally I will take every kind of decongestant I can get my hands on. I will drink something warm just to really make sure everything is warm in my voice. And sometimes I'll, get a pot, of boiling water and a towel, and I'll do that really, really quickly. And then I'll run to the microphone, and I've got about 5 minutes of voice. So it's very, I already have everything pulled up, ready to go. I already kind of know what I'm going to do. And, like just little bursts is basically how I get through it. I don't personally drink tea so much. I actually drink chicken soup broth is what I actually use in terms of warming up everything. I am not the only one that does that. I've met other women who do. So I'm not completely strange. I'm just like a small fraction of strange. But yeah, you just really kind of have to do what you can to buy the minutes and push through. And it's hard. And then sometimes it's hard when you record something with that voice and you have to do a pickup once you're better. So then you have to be able to make yourself sound, if you were a little bit congested and you couldn't fix whatever your voice was at that moment, you have to try to recreate that so that there's no difference between the two. So it's challenging on both sides, whether you're sick or well, if you're having to match the being sick. And normally if you time it right, you get a couple of minutes where you can, at least I have never had a point where I didn't get a few minutes where I could do the recording clearly. So
it sounds like an impossible thing to do, to bring back a unique moment of when your voice sounded like X, when it sounds like Y now.
Exactly.
And I personally really like that you do drink chicken soup or chicken soup broth to clear the cold or the flu. My faith, we call chicken soup Jewish penicillin, and it
really
works.
is.
So
yes, it
that's
really is.
your recipe for success. Keep eating, keep drinking the chicken soup. When people listen to your voice acting and talk to you about your work, how does it make you feel?
Usually proud, because whenever I try to do something, I try to do it well. And I like the fact that sometimes when people find out and ask questions, they don't necessarily realize that maybe they've actually heard me a lot more than they realize. Because like in the city that I live in, I'm on 5 different radio stations here, and I'm reading all sorts of stuff, and I'm using several different voices. So depending on the commercial that you hear, they're like, oh, that was you. Yes, that was me. And so are these. Wait, that's not you. That's not your voice. I promise it is. That is actually me. And I'm happy about it. And I do love the little bit of mischievous kind of element to it. But yeah, I'm normally very happy about it. And I also kind of take the opportunity to kind of educate people a little bit about voice work at that point when they're actually asking questions, because a lot of people think it's as simple as walking up to a microphone and talking. And talking and sounding like you're talking instead of reading is probably one of the most challenging things that you can do. So I normally kind of, depending on the conversation and the questions, I normally try to let them know that it's not quite as easy as you'd think.
I'm really happy to hear that. That's so lovely. Keep feeling proud about the work that you do. Because if you're not happy with it, no one's really going to be happy with it. No one's going to enjoy it. So keep, as I keep saying, keep at it. Keep enjoying what you do. You are exceptionally passionate about this, and it's wonderful to hear. Outside of voice acting, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to play video games. Normally, I enjoy Sid Meier's Civilization. I also enjoy playing Rock Band. I don't play too many first-person shooters. If I do, it's normally with my kids. But yeah, I enjoy playing video games. I have a dog that I love playing with and cuddling with, and we binge shows together. So I enjoy doing that one. But yeah, I think the thing that I enjoy most is very simply just hanging out with, spending time with people that I care about. So probably those are my top 3 things.
Lastly, and I cannot believe we're on the last question already.
It's going so fast.
Exactly. Is there anything else you'd like to say that you haven't already in this interview?
I would say for people that are interested in doing voice work, I would point out that yes, it is wonderful when you're working, but there's a lot of work to get you to be able to work, in terms of finding auditions, doing auditions, making connections in the business. And it is voice work, freelance voice work especially. I mean, it's a business. It's not as simple as, like I said, walking up to a microphone and, you know, turning it on and recording yourself. You've got to worry about websites. You've got to worry about social media. You've got to think about all sorts of things. And then there's the billing side of things. And then there's scheduling, just, you know, how to balance out which clients you need to have work done by for there. I mean, it is a business. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people are prepared for when they start. They're just normally like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy a mic, and I'm going to get my hands on some free software, and I'm going to go. And that's important, but that's not anywhere near all of it. So yeah, I would just tell people that want to get into it that it's a lot more than just recording your voice, and that it's so worth it.
And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you have enjoyed this interview with the voice actor and commercial producer, Jenna Birmingham. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, and tell me, what did you think of the interview? Do you agree that Jenna is deeply passionate about voice acting? In the description below, I have left links to Jenna's Facebook page, YouTube channel, and to her website so you can check out her materials. In addition, filmmakers, take note. If you are looking for a terrific and experienced voice actor to do some narration work for your commercials, animation, podcast intros, and/or DJ drops, then Jenna is exactly who you are looking for. Check out her materials and get in touch with her now. Moreover, my debut fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter, is out. If you are looking for a book that is short, fast-paced, and full of suspense, then check it out. I have left a link in the description below for that as well. Otherwise, until next time, keep well. Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button, and then you will be the first to receive more awesome content from my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.